Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to look at how to export um, objects out of Rhino into other programs. So I have a model here of a file which is got all this information, right? I have a ton of layers. I have a bunch of material that I used in order to make a materially fabricate a form, right? So I've got some waffles, I've got some surfaces, I even have some boundaries, I've got construction lines, I've got a lot of information. But I'm moving this to the next stage and I need to extract some information. Say, how do I get stuff out? Okay, all you have to do, it's pretty easy. So grab the things you want. Let's say, if I turn my wireframe on here, I want my form and I have some waffles in there. So I'm going to take just these things. So now I go to File, Export Selected. I want to make sure that I'm saving as a Rhino 6. And I'm going to go here to Exported Form. I'm going to name it like that. And say OK. And I've saved it out. Okay, so now let's open a new file. And we're going to make this a new project, right? So I'm going to bring in some legacy stuff. So I'm going to say here I'm going to enable a new layer, and then let's do File, Import. Let's go to the right folder, Exported Form, and say OK. And there it is. It's brought in. Now I have to scale it. So because in my previous model this was at a certain scale, in this model it's at a different one. So I need to sort of do some work scaling. So in order to scale, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my objects. And then what I'm going to do is type in the word scale. Okay? So in my previous work, the units were in inches. Here, I want it to be in feet. So instead of this being 10 inches tall, I want it to be 10 feet tall. All right, and now we can see that my X and my Y ribs, these came in as well. My form came in. But I want to make sure all of these imported layers sort of go in the right one. So let's make some sublayers. And there we go. So this is a really useful technique for bringing things in and out between different sort of Rhino files. So if you're working on small units, or you're working on individual components, or you're working on like a site or something that is like a vastly different scale, you can use these techniques for importing and exporting selected geometries between your different Rhino working files. And when you bring them in, if you have a working method that is able to collect through layers sort of their name and some generic information about what they are, it automatically brings in the layers that are assigned with your objects, and it allows for sort of quick working. Okay,